This project is mainly just to reduce stigma of foster kids and young people in care. And this project, we used it through song and music. So we constructed the lyrics, we got in touch with someone who could help with the melody and create the actual song. We got in contact with people who could do the music video, and overall just made this thing that was easier for kids to engage with, to learn more.
To echo what Charlie said, to raise awareness and reduce stigma for care experienced young people in Scotland, but we also included sons and daughters of foster carers as well as part of the experience. And the people that were involved in the project got together, built up relationships, and then they decided what creative activities they wanted to explore and do in order to have their voice heard, to educators, to foster carers, to other professionals, and whoever else would listen, basically. So
basically, our project is we are working with children and young people with care experience and with the workforce. And we're predominantly working within residential settings, but we do lots more wider systemic work as well. And it's all about us exploring how our children and young people experience love in their lives, and how we, as the adults who work with them and look after them, provide that love, how we deliver that love, and how what is important to our children and young people in terms of experiencing love in their homes and in their relationships, and in everything that they experience within their wider care experience, and making sure that can be as loving for them as possible. So it's about asking them what's important, and it's about talking to the workforce as well and seeing how we can support them to make our children's experiences as loving as possible.
WAC stands for We Are Citizens, and it's a theatre company which involves care experienced people from all different backgrounds and stuff like that. And we basically just really meet on a regular basis and do some drama. I think that's the easiest way for me to explain it.
It's a performance company, so everything that we do leads towards putting on shows. So I mean, we've managed to put on one big show called Whatever Happened to the Jagged just before the lockdown. But I'm just really proud that we've managed to keep going through the lockdown. And we created a lovely wee Christmas show called Elf's Right, didn't we, Chloe?
Yeah,
that was all done on Zoom.
It's important that they have that opportunity to just build upon those relationships and build that trust and just have fun and meet up and hang out and do things that aren't always to do with the project. And sometimes other creative activities that we did, nothing came out of it for the project, but sometimes other creative activities we did organically, things from that came for the project. So it was just about finding what people want to do and things that, like what Charlie said, can help them in their future lives or something that they're passionate about.
We learn from each other. We might have different perspectives on things, but it's always done in a respectful way, and we all value each other's opinions, I think, and realise that sometimes values may differ, but I think for me, I think it's the softer stuff, like me and Liz were saying earlier. It's a bit hard to capture this, but it's just the things like Liz checking in, making sure you're okay, just always being there and supportive, really. That's been a big part of the project for me.
I was going to pretty much just say the same. For me, it's just caring, whether it's work with the kids that you work with or your work colleagues. I think you just need to care about each other, because it's important knowing that you've got people there for you. If it is the young people, that they know it's important that they've got you there, or even you know it's important that you've got people that you work with that you can speak to. So,
and when we've spoken to our children and young people about what's important to them, you know, the most, you know, a loving worker, what does that feel like? What does that look like? And it's about somebody who follows through, who does what they say they're going to do, you know, who's their champion and who goes above and beyond what might be their job. And that's how we approach our work as well, is that, you know, it's about taking it to that level, because it's about love. It's not just about doing your job. It's not just about going, you know, to the extent of your job description. It's about like really being reliable and being somebody's champion, and them knowing that you've got their back. I think that's like, a couple of young people said that to us, that I know that person's got my back, and regardless of what happens, they'll have my back. And I think we know that about each other as a team. You know, if anybody's having stuff going on in the bigger, you know, the other world that's not work, then we can support each other through that. You know, that's what it's about.
I think it's just knowing that the people are there, like no matter how much you push them away or stuff like that, just knowing that they're going to be there for you, even through the hard times, is really important.
Nothing's forced, and nothing's like, right, we've all got to be best friends, come on, let's get to know each other. It's not like that. It happened really naturally, and I feel like that's maybe like the best way to go about it. Is like, I think patience is a big thing as well, because a lot of people, you know, we've all gone through bad times in our lives, and we've all had times where it's really hard to trust people, even in a, you know, acting capacity. Sometimes it's like maybe the person you don't trust is yourself, so you're very closed off and you don't want to open up too much. So I feel like having that patience to kind of get to know someone and not rush it too much, I think, is really important.
And I think being creative together is like from the beginning, you know what I mean, and like going and working in wee groups within the bigger group, and then coming back and sharing that. That's how you become pals. It's not, so it's like it's the making of being creative together, I think, really bonds everybody.
I felt if our relationships weren't as strong, the song wouldn't have been the way it is. The music video wouldn't have been the way it is. We wouldn't have been as confident to do webinars as we have.
The reason why it worked so well was because you were genuinely all just so nice and respectful to each other, and then it just had a knock-on effect.
With relationships, it's all about trust. Like, a relationship, when you have trust and you get encouragement, it's genuinely just a positive thing in your life that will affect how your well-being and how you project yourself out into the world, really.
In my past career, the way that I always worked, I think relationships were always hugely important to me, but they weren't like the core, the fundamental thing. You know, there was other times where I had to give out the tasks and stuff rather than the relationships. But we've learned in this project that if you put the work into the relationships, then the other stuff, it really does come. It has to be natural, and it has to be genuine and authentic as well.
I just think like we've witnessed it ourselves, you know, where people are doing participation work and they want to engage young people, and when they don't have such a good relationship, it does really impact on the work that they're trying to do, and the young people just do not want to engage as much. So it might take you a little bit longer to build those relationships and just get to know each other, but actually it's worth it in the long run. Like one young person in particular, who's been supported quite closely, and done some volunteering with the project, and a lot of that's down to the relationship that she had with Liz. But just to see her like doing really well and flourishing right now, like for me, that just makes me feel so proud. Like
I've never had a job that I felt as proud of and have felt as passionate about as this one, you know. And I just love working with our young people and working with Rianne and Erin, and the relationships that we've built over this past 3 years have made our project the success that it's been.
I think relationships are really important, and I think we've all built those very naturally. But I feel like even if one day, you know, citizens turn around and say, yeah, WAC's stopped, we don't have the funding anymore, I feel like that won't be the end of those relationships. And I'm still including Martin and all the other workers, because I feel like that's just, you know, once you're with citizens, we're with citizens, aren't we? So, no.
I think it's important for WAC that people's care experience is part of them, but when you come to WAC to act and to make work, and you happen to be care experienced. And I think that I personally think they can do anything. And what's very exciting for me is like writing stuff that I think is really hard, and then watching them like just devour it. It's amazing. It's very exciting to work with them.